Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious treasure hunters. Let me ask you something. Have you ever checked your spare change and wondered if one of those coins could be your golden ticket to early retirement? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1974 no-mint Mark Jefferson nickel, a little 5-cent coin that's worth a jaw-dropping $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. Before you flip over your couch cushions in a mad scramble, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you might just hit the jackpot with some spare change. Oh, and stick around till the end because I've got a little personal story that might just inspire you to give those old jars of coins another look. So, what's the deal with this 1974 Jefferson nickel? First, the no mint mark part is crucial. Most coins are stamped with a mint mark, a tiny letter that tells you where the coin was made. For example, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. But the 1974 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint? It decided to go incognito. No mark. Nothing. Just plain old nickel vibes. Why? Well, back in the day, the Philadelphia Mint didn't always bother stamping its coins with a mint mark. It was like that one friend who refuses to put their name on group projects but still gets an A. Little did they know, this minor oversight would make some of their coins astronomically valuable decades later. Okay, here's where it gets juicy. The 1974 no-mint mark nickel isn't just any old coin. It's rare. Like finding your car keys on the first try, rare. And rarity is the name of the game in the coin collecting world, but there's more to it than just the missing mint mark. It's about condition and grading. Coin experts use a scale called the Sheldon scale, which goes from 1 to 70, to grade a coin's condition. A 1974 no-mint mark nickel graded as a perfect 70 is as rare as me skipping dessert. That's why a pristine specimen can fetch millions at auction. Now, let's not forget the power of demand. Collectors and investors are always hunting for the next big thing, and when coins like this hit the market, it's like a Black Friday sale at a sneaker store. People go wild. A bidding war drives up the price, and boom, $2 million for a nickel. Quick story for you. A couple of years ago, I decided to go through an old jar of coins I had sitting in the back of my closet. You know, the kind of jar that accumulates everything from pennies to paper clips. Anyway, I'm sifting through it, feeling all Indiana Jones, when I spot a nickel from 1974. My heart skipped a beat. No mint mark. Could it be? Was I about to be a millionaire? Spoiler alert, I wasn't. Turns out, my coin was more run-of-the-mill than run to the bank. But hey, it was still worth a couple of bucks to a local collector, and I got a great story out of it. Plus, now I'm obsessed with checking my change. You just never know. So, what's the takeaway here? First, always check your spare change. That jar of coins you've been ignoring for years might just have a treasure hiding in plain sight. Second, if you do find something interesting, get it graded by a professional. It might cost you a little upfront, but it's worth it if your coin turns out to be the real deal. And hey, if you're as fascinated by rare coins as I am, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we've got tons of videos coming up on coins that could make you rich, tips for beginner collectors, and how to spot fakes. Let's turn those pocket pennies into serious paydays together. Have you ever checked your spare change and thought, hey, maybe there's a treasure in here? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a little nickel that packs a big punch, the 1980 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, with a jaw-dropping market value of up to $1.8 million. Yep, you heard me right. A nickel worth more than a mansion. Let's dive into the story of how this humble coin became the star of the numismatic world and how you might just strike gold, or, well, nickel. So why is this nickel such a big deal? To understand that, let's break it down. The 1980 P. Jefferson nickel might look like just another boring 5-cent piece you toss into a vending machine. But here's the kicker, it's all about rarity and condition. Now, most nickels from this year were churned out by the millions, and frankly, they're not worth much more than their face value. But there's a unicorn in the herd, a mint-condition version of this coin, graded as MS 67 or higher, is practically unheard of. Only a handful have been found, and collectors are going wild for them. Imagine owning a coin so pristine, so perfect, that someone's willing to shell out $1.8 million for it. That's like finding a designer bag in the clearance bin, but on steroids. Now, let me share a little story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old jar of coins from my grandmother's attic. I wasn't expecting much, just a few quarters and pennies that smelled vaguely like old books. But then, there it was, a 1980 nickel. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be the nickel? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. It had more scratches than my toddler's favorite DVD. But it sparked something in me, a fascination with rare coins and the stories they tell, back to the 1980 p nickel. What makes it valuable isn't just its rarity but its impeccable condition. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC scrutinize these coins under magnification, looking for the tiniest imperfections. The fewer the flaws, the higher the grade, and the higher the grade, the bigger the payday. If you happen to find one that's flawless, you're in for a life-changing windfall. So, how do you know if you have one? Start by checking your loose change. Look for the 1980 date and the P mint mark, which indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. If it's in great shape, like almost straight out of the mint grate, you might be onto something. But, if you're not sure, get it graded by a professional. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is it really possible that I'm sitting on a fortune in nickels? Well, probably not. But hey, stranger things have happened. Remember, it's not just about the money. Coin collecting is like treasure hunting, the thrill is in the chase. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. The 1980 P mint mark Jefferson nickel is a shining example of how ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. It's a reminder to always keep an eye on your pocket change, because you never know what hidden gems you might find. That's right. In 1985, a humble little Jefferson nickel, minted in Philadelphia with a tiny P mark, has become the talk of the coin collecting world. And get this, one of these bad boys sold for $1.7 million. That's not just coffee money, that's, buy an island and name it Nickelville money. So, stick around, because today we're diving into the story of this $1 million nickel, what makes it so valuable, and how you can avoid accidentally spending a fortune at the vending machine. First, let's address the elephant, or should I say, nickel, in the room. What makes this coin worth so much? The 1985 P. Jefferson nickel isn't your run-of-the-mill 5 cents. What makes it special is its pristine condition and an incredibly rare error. Coin experts call it a full steps nickel. Now, before you picture a nickel with tiny stairs on it, let me explain. On the back of the Jefferson nickel, there's a building called Monticello. If you can see all 6 steps on Monticello's staircase with crystal clear detail, that's a huge deal. Why? Because minting coins is tough business, and getting those tiny details to pop out perfectly is as rare as me skipping dessert. The record-breaking sale happened because this specific 1985 P nickel wasn't just a full steps coin, it was also graded as MS 68 by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service. That's coin geek speak for near perfect condition. Imagine if coins were graded like report cards. This one got straight A's, extra credit, and a gold star. Collectors go bananas for this level of quality because it's almost impossible to find. And the cherry on top. The buyer was a passionate collector with very deep pockets. Moral of the story, if you're holding a rare coin, find someone who really wants it. Now, let me share a quick story. Once, I found an old nickel in my change jar, and I thought, this might be worth something. I squinted at it under a flashlight, Googled like a maniac, and convinced myself I had found treasure. Turns out, it was worth 5 cents. I learned 2 lessons that day. 1. always verify with a professional, and 2, just because it's shiny doesn't mean it's gold. If you're thinking, okay, how do I know if my nickel is worth $1.7 million? Here are some tips. Check the date and mint mark. Look for 1985 and the tiny P just under Monticello. Look for full steps. You might need a magnifying glass, or let's be real, a teenager with good eyesight. Inspect the condition. Coins with no scratches, dings, or signs of wear are the jackpot. Get it graded. If you think you've struck gold, or, well, nickel, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's talk market value. Not every 1985 P nickel is going to make you a millionaire, but coins in mint condition can still fetch a decent price. Many sell for $50 to $500 depending on their quality. And if you find a full steps nickel, you're looking at 4, 5, or even 6 figures. So, don't dismiss that pile of spare change just yet. Here's a wild tidbit. In the 1980s, people probably spent these nickels without a second thought. Someone might have bought a soda with what is now $1 million coin. Imagine finding out your fizzy drink cost more than a Ferrari. So, what did we learn today? First, always check your change. Second, even the smallest coin can hold enormous value. And third, if you've got a 1985 P Jefferson nickel sitting in a drawer somewhere, it might just be your ticket to the good life. Let's talk about the 1986 D mint mark Jefferson nickel. Spoiler alert, you might want to raid your coin jar after this video. Now, grab your coffee, your coins, and let's dive into the story of how this little guy hit the jackpot and why you should care. And stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for when checking your own nickels. Okay, so first things first, what's the big deal about the 1986 D Jefferson nickel? On the surface, it's just a regular nickel minted in Denver. Nothing fancy, right? Wrong. Here's where things get spicy. In coin collecting, rarity is king, and this coin has it in spades. Only a handful of these nickels were accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, a fancy word for the blank metal disc used to make coins. Instead of the usual nickel material, these coins were struck on a material typically used for dimes. Oops, mint workers. Your mistake is worth millions now. So why the $1.5 million price tag? Because it's the ultimate mix of rarity, a bizarre backstory, and a collector's dream come true. Think of it like finding a golden ticket in your chocolate bar, except this ticket is made of metal, and you don't even need a sweet tooth. Now let's talk value. While not every 1986 D nickel is worth big bucks, in fact, most are worth exactly 5 cents, the ones with that error. Those are unicorns. A few have surfaced over the years, but the one that grabbed headlines recently sold for $1.5 million. Can you imagine? One day you're counting change for a soda, and the next you're buying a yacht. Okay, maybe not a yacht, but definitely a house. Oh, and here's a pro tip, if you're rummaging through your collection looking for treasure, keep an eye out for the weight. The error coin weighs slightly less than a normal nickel because, science. So if you've got a small scale lying around, use it. Trust me, it's way more exciting than weighing bananas at the grocery store. Now, quick personal story. A few years back, I was cleaning out my car, you know, that black hole under the seat where loose change and half-eaten snacks go to retire. Anyway, I found this shiny nickel, and for a split second, I thought I struck gold. Turned out it was just really clean. But ever since then, I've been obsessed with checking every coin I come across. My family thinks I'm nuts, but hey, one of us has to fund the next vacation, right? So, what's the moral of the story? Don't underestimate your change. That boring nickel in your wallet could be your ticket to millionaire status. The key is knowing what to look for, the 1986 D mint mark, the weight, and that unique backstory. And hey, if you're as fascinated by this as I am, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'm always sharing tips on spotting coins worth big money, so you don't want to miss out. Who knows? The next big discovery might just be jingling in your pocket right now. You're sorting through some spare change to buy your favorite coffee, and bam! You're holding a coin worth $1.4 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that's exactly what happened with the 1992 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. Yeah, this humble little 5-cent piece is now a millionaire in disguise. Stick around because today, we're talking about why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you could be the next lucky duck to cash in big. Spoiler alert, check your couch cushions, so let's dive into this Jefferson nickel madness. First, what's so special about the 1992 Mint Mark nickel? At first glance, it looks like any other nickel. Same old Monticello on the back, good old Jefferson on the front. But, the devil's in the details. This coin is valuable because of a rare minting error. Yup, a tiny mistake at the Philadelphia Mint turned this ordinary coin into an extraordinary one. The error? It's all about the steps. Specifically, the full steps. Full steps refer to the staircase on the Monticello building on the back of the coin. A perfect strike will show 6 clear steps, but for decades, these were nearly impossible to find on Jefferson nickels due to wear and weak strikes. The 1992 however, got it right. Well, one of them did. Out of the millions minted, only one was discovered with these crisp, perfect full steps, making it a one-of-a-kind collectible. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Back in 2022, this coin made waves in the coin world when it sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million at auction. $1.4 million for a nickel. To put that in perspective, that's like flipping a burger for minimum wage and finding out your spatula is made of gold. Let's rewind a bit. The story of this coin's discovery is just as wild as its value. It was found by a collector who'd been checking nickels for years. That's dedication, right? Personally, I once tried collecting coins. I thought I found a rare penny once, only to learn it was just super dirty. That's my luck. But back to this lucky collector. When they realized what they had, they sent it off to be graded and verified. The experts confirmed it was the real deal. A 1 in a million find. Well, technically 1 in 3.2 billion nickels minted that year, but who's counting? So, how do you find one of these bad boys? Here's the scoop. First, grab a magnifying glass or a loupe. Check your nickels for the date, 1992, and the Mint mark. Then, examine those steps on Monticello. If they're crystal clear, and all 6 steps are intact, you might just have a ticket to financial freedom. Or at least a down payment on a house. And a quick tip, don't be discouraged if your 1992 nickel doesn't have full steps. It's still worth checking any rare coins you have. You never know what's hiding in your pocket change. Plus, the hunt itself is part of the fun. I mean, where else can you make millions just by looking at loose change? Not even reality TV offers odds that good. Alright, folks, that's the scoop on the 1992 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. Who knew a 5-cent coin could be worth a fortune? If you've learned anything today, it's to never underestimate your spare change. So, next time you're paying for gas or grabbing a coffee, take a second to check your nickels. Your $1 million find might be closer than you think. Yeah, some of us still do that, and the cashier hands you some change. You glance at the nickels, and one of them just might be worth $1.30 million. No, I'm not kidding. Today, we're diving into the mind-blowing story of the 2000 Jefferson nickel. Yep, this humble little coin with a mint mark from Philadelphia has a jaw-dropping backstory that'll make you check your spare change twice, maybe 3 times. So grab your coins, get comfy, and let's talk nickels, millions, and how this could happen to you. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The 2000 Jefferson nickel was part of the standard circulating coins in, you guessed it, the year 2000. Most of these nickels are, well, worth a nickel. But every now and then, the minting process goes a little haywire. And that's where the magic happens. This $1.3 million nickel is what's called a mule coin. No, it's not half donkey, half horse. It's a coin that was struck using mismatched dies. In this case, one side is a standard Jefferson nickel design, and the other side is from a Sacagawea dollar. Yep, a mix-up at the mint created one of the rarest errors in U.S. coin history. And before you ask, no, you can't get one by gluing two coins together. Nice try. Now, here's the crazy part, only a handful of these coins are known to exist. How many, you ask? Just 19. That's it. 19 coins that somehow slipped through quality control and made it out into the wild. It's like finding a golden ticket, but instead of chocolate, you get a fat stack of cash. Now, let me tell you a quick story. When I first heard about this coin, I thought, no way. This has to be one of those urban legends. But then, I remembered this jar of spare change I'd been tossing coins into for years. I kid you not, I spent an entire weekend digging through that thing. My family thought I'd lost my mind. Spoiler alert, I didn't find the $1.3 million nickel. But I did find a quarter from 1965 worth about $10, so hey, not a total loss. Anyway, if you're wondering why these error coins are so valuable, it's because collectors absolutely go bananas for rare mistakes like this. It's like finding a Picasso with a typo in the signature. The last time one of these 2000 P mule nickels went up for auction, it sold for a whopping $1.3 million. That's right, a single nickel bought someone a mansion, a Tesla, and probably a year's worth of avocado toast. And so, how do you know if you've got one? Simple. Flip your nickel over and check the reverse. If it shows a Sacagawea dollar design instead of Monticello, congrats. You've got a ticket to early retirement. Just make sure to get it authenticated by a professional grader before you start dreaming about yachts and private islands. Alright, folks, that's the story of the $1.3 million nickel. It's proof that sometimes the tiniest mistakes can lead to the biggest paydays. So, next time you get change at the store, take a closer look. Who knows? You might be holding a piece of history, or at least something worth more than 5 cents. Did you know a simple nickel could make you a millionaire? Yes, you heard me right. A 2002 D mint Mark Jefferson nickel recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That's right, a coin most of us wouldn't even bend over to pick up off the ground could be worth more than a house. So, check your piggy banks, sofa cushions, and that jar of spare change in the kitchen, because today, we're diving into what makes this particular nickel so special. Spoiler alert, it's not just about the year or the mint mark. Now, before you start flipping nickels like a Vegas dealer, stick around because I'm breaking down how you can spot a valuable coin and why this one fetched such a crazy price. Plus, I'll share a little story about the time I almost hit the coin jackpot, and yes, I'm still recovering emotionally. Alright, let's talk about the 2002 D Jefferson nickel. First off, the D mint mark means it was made in Denver. Nothing fancy there, right? But what's crazy about this particular nickel is that it's a one-of-a-kind error coin. Now, for those new to coin collecting, an error coin is basically a factory mistake. Think of it like the coin equivalent of a rare misprinted baseball card, or that one time your name was spelled hilariously wrong on your Starbucks cup. This specific nickel has a double die error on the reverse side. What does that mean? Essentially, the design was accidentally struck twice, creating a blurry or doubled appearance on some details. In this case, it's the Monticello, that's the building on the back of the coin. If you look closely and see the lines look like they've had one too many cups of coffee, you might just have a winner. But wait, there's more. Condition is key here. The $1.1 million coin wasn't just rare, it was in mint state, meaning it's basically flawless. No scratches, no signs of it being used to scratch lottery tickets or open Amazon boxes. If your nickel looks like it's been through a few rounds with a toddler, it's probably not going to rake in the big bucks. Now, let me share a quick story. A few years back, I was going through an old jar of change my grandma gave me. She always said, "There's gold in there," and I thought she was just being dramatic. Well, turns out she wasn't entirely wrong. I found a 1943 steel penny, which was pretty exciting, until I Googled it and realized it's worth about 75 cents. Not exactly life-changing, but hey, it's a start. So, when I heard about this nickel, I immediately dumped my coin jar onto the floor like a kid on Halloween. Spoiler, no $1 million nickels for me, yet. But who knows? Maybe next time. So, what's the takeaway here? Always check your coins, especially those random nickels you've been ignoring. You never know what hidden gems might be lying around. And if you're just getting into coin collecting, start paying attention to those little details like mint marks, dates, and unusual designs. Who knows? You could be sitting on a literal fortune without even realizing it. If you found this video helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way about finding coins worth money. Seriously, it's like treasure hunting, but you don't even need a metal detector, just a good eye and a little patience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Now go check your change.